Yo, what is up, everybody? It's Peace. Welcome to another video. So this is part 2 of the Artifact Drytron deck profile, and then I will be hopefully showing some combos towards the end of this video. We just started on the extra deck, so we left off at Kikin Nagashi Fucho, and I explained why that's such a good card. Obviously, you have your Destiny Hero, Destroyer, Phoenix Enforcer. So next card that we're going to take a look at is your other rank 1 that you play. A lot of builds will have 2 Moonbeta Fafnir, and 2 Moonbeta Fafnir is very good. If your first Fafnir gets stopped, or if you want to make an entire board basically just using Edatin, because Edatin's effect reads that you can add a ritual spell from grave or deck. So you just keep on recycling Meteonis, and it becomes an infinite link fodder. Like for the 2 seconds that we had Star Eater when link summoning was a thing. Essentially, that's what would happen, but we only play 1 because I only own 1, and honestly, you don't really need more than 1. I might consider cutting it for Fucho for another copy of it, but Fucho has saved me so many times. I really think that that's a solid card and good for the strategy. So 1 Moonbeta Fafnir. This isn't too expensive. I picked it up when it was a few bucks as well. I think like 7-ish, and I traded for it, so that was really nice. So that's the main reason why I was able to play the deck. So next up, another one of your Floodgate win conditions is Abyss Dweller. I mentioned in the part 1 that you summon this with your 2 level 4s. In the Megalith version, you can actually summon this with Ophiel because it's also a level 4. And I'll briefly show that combo, and I'll compare it to my combo, and you'll see that it's just not worth it to play the extra bricks. We do have space for Downward. This is essentially necessary because when you reborn your Moonbeta Fafnir off of the effect of the Gamma, then it's not going to have any material, so you do need to slap 1 on there for your Zeus to actually have material. And then also, it's just nice if you have a Fucho and your opponent has something in defense position, you can attack into it, and then you get a 4 material Zeus. So the Downward is the difference between a 1 material Zeus, or a 2 material Zeus, or a 3 material Zeus, or a 4 material Zeus. So it's basically necessary because a big part of the win condition of this deck going second is being able to clear your opponent's board, and Downward really assists with that. So my opponent did have an interruption when I was playing last night. It was the Prank Kids Thunder Wind monster that can tribute itself and pop your whole field. So I had the 2 level 1s on board, and I already baited another one of his disruptions, I think a DPE. So I made this, and I attacked into his defense position Prank Kid monster. I took some damage because I wanted to have the materials, so I didn't use its effect to prevent battle damage. And then I was able to slap Zeus directly on top of this, because if I had done Downward first, that would have risked getting my Downward interrupted, because this is not unaffected by card effects, just this. So that's an important note. Sometimes you need to slap Zeus directly on top of Fucho. Anyway, next up we have Beatrice. This rarely comes up now. I rarely summon this, and it's fine. This could honestly be a flex spot. Its really only purpose in the deck is to dump Token Collector, and then in certain awkward hands, you can actually make it and then dump a Drytron to continue your Drytron plays, but those are far and few between. It's cute to have it. You don't play Diviner, so you're making this with literally the only 2 level 6s that you play in the deck, which are Beatrice and Edatin. Which are Cyber Angel Benten and Cyber Angel Edatin. But I can show, this was part of an old combo that I can show. Next, the best Xyz monster in the game right now, Divine Arsenal Zeus. So good. So that's all the fusions and Xyz. No need to explain those. You need to have a strong going second pool, and this deck poops out rank 1s like it's Lyrilisk. Next up, Link Haribo. This is a really useful card. You can tribute it off to make your opponent's attack 0 when they battle it, which actually comes up. Verte, this card is just a generic Link 2. It needs effect monsters, though. You can, change monsters on the field to Dark, which is pretty cool, but its main effect is to make DPE. IP Masquerena, Just another generic link too. You play the Nightmares, so this can link off your board into like an Apollosa or a Nightmare Unicorn. One of our main win conditions of the deck, Dagda, you just make this with 2 monsters. And then if you activate a card on the field, or if your opponent activates a card on the field, you can chain this to that and set an artifact from deck, and it's destroyed during your opponent's next end phase. So even if you don't get to destroy it with DPE, it will still get popped if it was set off by this. Also, if this link summoned card is destroyed during your opponent's turn, you can reborn an artifact monster in your graveyard in defense position, which comes up. So if you Scythe Lock your opponent turn 1 and it's back on your turn and you can't kill, leave this on field so you can Scythe Lock them again. Because then you can activate DPE's effect, chain Dagda, set a artifact Lancia. So you destroy the set Lancia that you just put off of Dagda and the Dagda, and then you can chain block your Dagda, special summoning your Scythe, and special summoning a Lancia. So you get to Lancia Scythe people twice if you leave this on board. Next up, the Nightmare monsters. So you can put a lot of bodies on board with this deck, and not a lot of the stuff activates on field. So these are the things that are going to be baiting your opponent's interactions going second, unless they have like Ash or something, because like Ash can stop a hand effect of like Alpha Thubin. But most of the time, you're going to get rid of your opponent's disruptions with these. My opponent banished this with their Omen the other day. And then I was able to just keep on going, and I was able to win that one. So next up is Apollosa. It's just like, you can make this mid-combo and protect your plays if you have enough gas. And sometimes you can read the Nibiru. Like, if they don't scoop, then you know they have Nibiru. And then finally, Access Code Talker, because this is just great for OT King people. You usually only have a dark and a light, but if you really want to, you can usually throw fire in there too if you need 3 pops, but usually you only need 2. Any other honorable mentions for the extra deck? I don't think so. So next we can go to the side deck. So this removes your normal summon, but you can't play Kaijus in this deck because of the restriction that I talked about from part 1 with the Drytrons. When you activate any Drytron effect, you can not special summon monsters that can be normal summoned or set. And all of them have that restriction, including Nova. You could probably make a janky list that doesn't have any of the Drytrons, but still plays the Meteonis spell. And just like the Mu Beta Fafnir, because those don't restrict you. But all of these have, you cannot special summon monsters, except monsters that cannot be normal summoned or set the turn you activate this effect. So that's like the entire turn. So much like Crescendo, Orchestrated Crescendo's effect to search, you can only special summon Dark Machines that entire turn. That's just like these Drytrons, where the effect is lingering the entire thing. It's not like Rocket Tracer, where you can just pop something, special summon a Rocket from deck, and then you're locked out of the extra deck from Darks. This is way more restrictive, like Orchestrated Crescendo. So you're forced to play stuff like this for board breakers. I don't think Super Poly is very good this format. I mean, it's cute, it can like hit like DP and stuff, but this takes care of so much more variety of boards. So you tribute to your opponent's monsters. It's not really something they can respond to. They can respond to the summon and negate the summon and then destroy it, but the monsters were already tributed essentially for cost for this to resolve. It's not really an effect activating or whatever, and it's not really cost. It's just tributing your opponent's monsters, summoning the Lava Golem. And then if you want to make a Zeus play, summon it on your opponent's side in defense position, but I'm usually bad manners and I summon it in attack position. Usually I Mystic Mine them immediately after, and this effect to burn 1,000 damage is an activated effect. So if they're under mine, they don't lose the 1,000. So that's important. And it's also level 8, so your opponent can do rank 8 plays with it, or Synchro for 9 if they've got a level 1 tuner. Stuff like that sometimes can come up. But usually if you're Lava Goleming your opponent and you are, if you open playable, then you win. Token Collector, I just play the 1-up because you can dump it. I should probably play more since the Sword Soul matchup is pretty rough unless you like draw Lancia or something. And even then, like it's an uphill battle. But just the 1 Token Collector, I have opened it and I stopped a Brave Engine, which is nice. But like, I can show you the alteration of the combo to dump this. You do have to sacrifice another portion of the combo, but I'll show that. Next, Dark Ruler No More. Like I've mentioned in previous deck profiles for this deck, droplets would be correct in this position here, in this card slot. But I am budget. I know people get tilted because I got a DPE or whatever, but I pulled that. I traded for the access code. Everything else in the deck is super cheap, and these are commons. Well, this is a secret because I opened the tins or whatever, but you can get them in common from structure decks or whatever. Even the new structure deck that's coming out, the branded fusion one. So essentially, like I mentioned in part 1, you can play around your opponent's Lancia, which is really the main reason why you'd want to be playing Droplet anyway, to stop Scythe, I meant Scythe, so that you can stop Scythe and actually play the game, because sometimes you just can't play the game if you're locked out of your extra deck. But with this deck, Alphazeta does get you this. You can't bait as many interruptions if you're under Scythe Lock, but a lot of decks that end in Scythe Lock usually only have 1 negate on board. So you just play through that negate, you summon this guy out, you attack all of their special summon monsters, like I mentioned in the last video, and it's a disruption on your opponent's turn, which is why this is absolutely necessary in the main deck. You never side that out even. So Dark Ruler is fine over Droplet, which just makes this a little bit slightly more budget. And like I said, you can't use Kaijus because Kaijus can be normal summoned, and then just the 1-up for Beatrice. All right, so next up is Back Row Hate. Harpy's Feather Duster's cute, and so is Twin Twisters. Twin Twisters can discard your, what's it called? Your Drytron cards, and then you can plus off of them, which is cute, or whatever. And then Red Reboot. Sometimes I put this in going first if I saw Imperm, and I've actually resolved that. So my opponent will Imperm me on my turn 0, and I'll Red Reboot them, and then I'll have to out both Imperms, but at least I don't get to have my stuff negated. And then this used to be evenly matched, but we are using Zeus as a primary going second strategy card, so we want our battle phase. It's counterintuitive, especially since we're playing Fucho, so our XYZ is basically unoutable. So for going first, we finally have a card, Solemn Judgment. I saw this on someone's deck profile, but it's really good for going second, or for going first, rather. You never put this in if you think you're going second. So that's that. And then some honorable mentions, I guess. I wanted to find room for Triple Tactics, Talents, and Phantasme. There's just not enough room to justify this. All this is a very good card, and a lot of people are link summoning. It can fix your bricky hands. It puts a body on field. You're never activating this during your own turn. It's just a big level 7 dragon that can protect your other cards from targeting. Unfortunately, we're already at 42. I couldn't find any space for this in the side deck. This is unsearchable. Like, it's just, I don't know, if there's like anything like going on, then like that makes it such that I can't play all the cards I play, I'll put in Phantasme. And the Triple Tactics Talent is even better than Phantasme, because ideally this deck can play through a disruption, and then you get to see your opponent's hand, and then you continue comboing. But I just couldn't find room for it. It's really cute. You can also steal stuff, or you can draw 2 cards, Pot of Greed. But usually you're activating this after you've been drolled, so you're usually either stealing, but most likely you're shuffling in from the hand. I only own 2 talents, but it did not make the cut for the list. I used to play this in the main, like along with Cosmic Cyclone. I was trying some weird build, but talents, I had to cut it. But honorable mentions, like if you do have that and you don't have some of the other cards that I have, I would definitely recommend putting in those as your like going second cards or whatever. And then, so I guess next I'll show you guys the standard Alphazeta combo. Also, I did mention on the ban list, if they do hit Scythe, what you can do, you could still basically make it the same list. But if they hit Dagda, then you just have to sacrifice one of your searches to get your Scythe, and then you can still Scythe lock your opponent. You may need to sacrifice the Abyss Roller, which doesn't play around Droplet. But I'll show you the standard bread and butter combo that has been winning me tournaments, and it's been refined as much as I possibly could. But right before I get into that, I just want to mention one thing before I forget. If they do something crazy, like I've heard people saying they should limit alpha. If they do that, then you will be playing the Preparation of Rites spell that can search any ritual monster, and that'll essentially replace this. Obviously, you'll play a bunch of other names, So, but having that way to search essentially Ben 10 is going to be really useful. So, you start off by activating Alpha in your hand, tributing Zeta from your hand as cost to special summon Alpha and simultaneously search your Cyber Angel Ben 10. All right, so from there, you now have Zeta in graveyard and you've summoned once. So you're going to activate Zeta and you're going to tribute your Ben 10 as cost. That resolves in special summons itself, searching your field spell. And by field spell, I mean ritual spell. All right, so that's your second summon. Cyber Angel Ben 10 on resolution will trigger unless David Montoya DD Crows it. Shout outs to David. In that case, it will resolve searching you any light fairy. So from this point on, you search your one normal summon, which is Manju of the 10,000 Hands. So at this point, your third summon will be Drytron Mubeta Fafnir. So this is usually where you get Ogred or Veilered or Impermed. You got the Crossout Designator for those. You can't get nibbed at this point, so that's fine. So essentially, you're going to be dumping off of Mubeta Fafnir if that goes through. Sometimes you have a third Drytron name in hand already, so the dump isn't as important, but you still want a plus. But the bread and butter combo, Alphazeta, just all you need is it's by those two cards by itself, and you can do all of this. So I'm going to dump Gamma Eltanin to the graveyard, and that's the Monster Reborn one. So now at this point, we want to make sure that we're playing around that Nibiru. So this was 3 summons so far. The 4th summon will be the activation of Meteonis Drytron. This is because we want to ensure that we can get Ben 10's effect to resolve again, because we are greedy. The name of the game is Greed, and without the Megalith package, you have less bricks, but you do need to play a little bit differently. So you're going to detach as part of the ritual summoning requirement. The Zeta, it shouldn't matter too much, but I usually detach Zeta for a special reason that I'll get to in a second. So special summon Cyber Angel Ben 10, it could be an attack or defense. So this is 4 summons. You cannot get nibbed here. A really good spot to nib Drytron is when they're trying to add their ritual spell from the graveyard to their hand by targeting a Drytron monster on field. Because that will resolve without effect if it can't reduce the attack on the field, which means that your ritual spell is stuck in graveyard, which means you cannot gain any more advantage. So at this point, you would activate Meteonis, reducing Mubeta Fafnir's attack by 1,000 until the end phase of your opponent's next turn, and returning it to your hand. So now that that is done, that is how you play around Nibiru for that. Also, even if they did have Nibiru at some point in this combo, if you have Linkuriboh on the field already by like a Nova trying to get to your Alphazeta, then you will still have your Ben 10 as your 5th summon. So at least they, when they're tributing off your field, if they do it that early, you'll get your trigger of Ben 10 again, which gets you your Natasha. You can normal summon Manju and grab the Meteonis. I'm telling you guys how to play around hand traps like live. Where is it? Drytron Meteonis Draconids. After you normal summon this, and then you can use this as the ritual fodder to special summon your search target from Ben 10, which will be Natasha. Once you link summon that off for Dagda, you can actually use Natasha's effect, banish Ben 10, grab your opponent's Nibiru, link those two off for your Verte. So you still have Verte Scythe Lancia through the Nibiru, which I did to my opponent yesterday night, which is really awesome. So anyway, you're here right now, and what you're going to do next is you're going to activate Gamma's effect, tributing the Ben 10 as cost to special summon itself and bring back a friend. At this point, you are past the Nibiru threshold, so you do want to protect yourself from that. Cyber Angel Ben 10's effect will search. At this point, you're going to search an extender. The extender is Chaos Valkyria. I mentioned in the last video that you can banish a light or dark from your graveyard. I usually banish Zeta because I only play 1 ritual spell, so it's less useful than all the other ones. You'll always be able to reborn one. You'll usually be able to search a ritual monster, but you only have 1 ritual spell that you play in the deck with this build. We're not playing the Vendread build anymore. I'll show you that combo later if there's time. We're at 19 minutes right now. All right. So from this point, you will ensure that you can activate your win condition, which is Dagda. Sorry, I'm blanking here. So you link those off. You try to have as much interaction before you get Nibiru'd as possible. So you can bring out Artifact Dagda. At this point, you can normal summon your Manju of the 10,000 hands and activate the effect. This will search you out your ritual monster. So in the previous combos, we used to search Edatin to make Beatrice, but at this point, we always search Natasha, because like I said, this allows you to play around Nibiru even if they don't have it. And since it needs to be properly summoned, Brian Baldwin, before you can actually use its effect to special summon it from the graveyard by banishing another Cyber Angel, properly summoning it during your first turn ensures that next turn you will start the turn, if you didn't die, with a steal, which is insane. Which also turns on all of your Drytron effects, because once Cyber Angel Natasha summons itself, you can actually tribute it off with any of your Drytron cards in order to continue with your plays. And plus more. So you're actually searching Cyber Angel Natasha here. Next up, you will be activating Medionis, detaching Mubeta Fafnir to special summon Natasha. At this point, you can either target the Manju to gain 700 life points, or actually the Dagda to gain 750 life points. Oh, you can't really see it. Or you can wait a second to gain 900 life points, which is what I usually do, and you'll see why. So you'll special summon your Chaos Valkyria by banishing your Zeta. Don't worry, you can get that back later on in the duel with Beta Rastaban if you really need it. Which is useful. So at this point, you're going to activate Natasha's effect, targeting Chaos Valkyria to gain 900 life points, because it's half the attack, half of 18. So after you use Verte, you'll be at exactly 6,900 life points after your full combo, which is hysterical, and I purposely do that all the time. Next up, you can go ahead and overlay for your Abyss Dweller, because at this point, there's no other opportunity to make it. Then you can go ahead and link off your final two monsters for Predaplant Verte Anaconda. You can activate Anaconda's effect, dumping the Fusion Destiny. And then you can chain your Artifact Dagda to set Artifact Scythe from deck. You send your DPE bricks, Dasher and Celestial, which is correct now, for your Destroyer, Phoenix, Enforcer. So if they didn't nib you and they waited all the way until now, I commend them. But we're going to play around that anyway. So at this point, you do need to have another card on field to destroy. So luckily we made it with Verte. Sometimes I hard open the Fusion Destiny, so I have to pop another card, which I go neg on. But it's important to do that because your opponent will have droplets, Jacob Sobek. So during end phase, when they can't Nibiru you anymore, you will declare DPE's effect. That will destroy itself and Predaplant Verte Anaconda. So this is the full board. You've got Natasha live in grave and DPE in grave. You have Dagda, Scythe, and Dweller. So this doesn't seem very, very oppressive, but it's incredibly oppressive. In draw phase, you will activate Abyss Dweller. So if your opponent has Droplet, which is a hard once per turn, they have a choice. Do I stop my opponent from preventing me from activating graveyard effects, or do I make it such that I can still, I can still banish cards and I can still summon from my extra deck? So if this resolves, you special summon this, and then you activate the effect, and it gets dropletted, and you don't continue. But if it does not, this is usually where people scoop, because you chain Artifact Dagda to summon, or to set Artifact Scythe, or Artifact Lancia from your deck. I'm so sorry. And then DPE resolves, popping your Scythe and your Lancia. So you want to chain block the important one, which is Artifact Scythe, in case your opponent top decked Ghost Spell for turn, which is hilarious. So you'll do Chainlink 1 Scythe, Chainlink 2 Lancia. So that will special summon your Lancia, and that'll special summon your Artifact Scythe. So you'll have to trigger the mandatory effect of Artifact Scythe now, And then at any point, you can go ahead and Lancia them on resolution in order to prevent, or you can even chain it, to prevent them from activating like Pot of Prosperity or Extravagance to dig for their Mystic Mine or whatever else out they can have now that they cannot summon from extra deck or activate cards from graveyard. So now we're at 25 minutes. I'm going to run through a quick old combo with the Megalith package, which is why I don't run that anymore. Or actually, before I do that, I'm going to run quickly through the combo to dump the token collector. It's what I used to do to dump Fairy Tale Snow, actually. So Alphazeta. Alpha will search you your Ben 10. Next, Zeta, tribute Ben 10, summon Zeta. Zeta will get you your ritual spell, Meteonos Drytron. Then Ben 10 will trigger searching your Manju. At this point, you still make the Mubeta Fafnir, which dumps your Gamma. Now, same thing here. You want to play around that stuff as much as you can. Tribute Zeta, special summon Ben 10. Now, ritual spell, return itself back. At this point, you're going to Gamma, tribute Ben 10 as cost, special summon Gamma and Zeta, then trigger Ben 10 to search. So here you're going to search, you can search your Chaos Valkyria if you really want. It's just an extender, or you can search Lancia, or even Scythe if you want, but this combo will give you the most. So then you normal summon your Manju of the 10,000 hands. This actually searches you the card that doesn't come up as often anymore, the Cyber Angel Ben 10. Or Edaton. I am so sorry. I'm so bad with these names. So anyway, from this point, you can actually activate Meteonos Drytron to tribute the attachment of your Mubeta to special summon Edaton. Edaton's effect will activate, adding the Meteonos Drytron from your graveyard. At this point, you can activate it again, tributing your Gamma or your Zeta to special summon Ben 10. So at this point, you're all ritualed out. You don't have access to your ritual spell anymore, but that's whatever. So over here, you can overlay for Beatrice, and then Beatrice can detach the Ben 10 to dump any card in your deck, including your spicy side deck card, your token collector, or another Drytron if you want to, if a weird scenario comes up. So from here, unfortunately, you're going to have to choose. You can link these two off for your Dagda here. And then you can special summon your extender by banishing your Zeta. And then essentially, you will need to activate something on the field in order to set your Scythe, to make Dweller. And then you will be linking off your Beatrice and your Dagda for Verte. So that's why I don't like that route anymore, because in order to dump, you need to sacrifice your Lancia and your negging on your Beatrice. But if you really need to dump, then that is an option. So you just end on a similar board, and you still play around Droplet, except you're missing the Dagda now. So this comes out after standby phase, and you pop. And then we're at 28 minutes right now. I will go over one last quick combo. Alphazeta. And there's so many nuances that will come up when you're playing this deck. So the old combo, if you really want to play with Megaliths, you can Alpha tribute Zeta for Ben 10. Zeta tribute Ben 10. Add ritual spell. Ben 10 effect to search Manju. Overlay for Mubeta Fafnir. Mubeta Fafnir effect to dump Gamma. At this point, you'll normal summon your Manju, and you will be searching your Megalith Fool. So you're like, wait a minute, how are we supposed to loop Ben 10? So what you do is you activate Meteonos to special summon it from your hand. And then this combo does not play around Nibiru, but it just gives you extra material. So you'll activate Megalith Fool, which is why this is such an attractive proposition for people. You add Ben 10 and change this to level 6. So this becomes your Diviner. It's a level 6 body now, and now you can search your Edaton. This next combo, or this next portion, pluses you so hard, it's insane. Notice we didn't add the ritual spell back from our graveyard. We're going to add it back in a separate way. So Megalith Fool will activate its effect to ritual summon from deck. You contribute the Ben 10 from your hand to special from your deck a copy of Megalith Ophiel. So now you can set up your chain links and block your Ben 10. Ben 10 chain link 1 to search a light fairy, Megalith Ophiel chain link 2 to search a Megalith card. So you search your other copy of Fool that you play, and then from your main deck, from your Ben 10 search, you search Edaton. Now you can use Ophiel to make a Abyss Dweller, but that's not what we do in this combo. If that was the case, then we'd have to add our Meteonis back in order to get back into our ritual plays. But we don't need to do that yet, because we're going for the Beatrice play, not the Abyss Dweller play. The Beatrice play, you activate Ophiel's on-field effect to ritual summon from your hand. So, you contribute the level 4 Ophiel and the level 2 Fool in your hand to special summon Edaton from your hand. Now, without even activating Meteonis Drytron's graveyard effect, you get to activate Edaton to add it back. So you can still add this back after you're done ritual summoning. So at this point, you can leave this on board to ritual summon Megalith Bethor, which is what people really like to do, because on your opponent's turn, you can activate this quick effect and actually summon Bethor and pop cards on the field equal to the number of different ritual names you have in the graveyard. That has never come up for me, not even once, so I cut this package completely. But what I used to do is overlay Megalith Fool, which is a level 6, and Edaton, which is a level 6, to make Beatrice. And so what this did for me back in the day was, like, I could dump Eva at this point, or, like, whatever I wanted, essentially. But in this combo, you would detach the Edaton, because you can actually loop it and use Mubeta Fafnir's material to summon Edaton several more times, which is nice. And like I said, you have not used this yet, and you have not used Gamma yet. What you can actually do is you can Meteonis, bring back the Ben 10, Meteonis bring itself back, tribute the Ben 10 for Gamma. Gamma comes out, and Zeta comes out. You can actually search the Chaos Valkyria off of Ben 10, and you still have your huge combo. But adding those 4 Megalith cards in your deck are such a brick that I do not think it's worth it at all. You still end on a super powerful board, and you can even add Fairy Tale Snow. That's what I initially had in my deck, but that does not work. It's just not good. You summon that. You can activate Meteonis. You summon Edaton, activate Edaton, add back Meteonis. You can trigger your Dagda to set Scythe. Then you can activate the... Wait, no, I already activated that, so I need to detach this. You can activate the ritual spell again if you have access to your Natasha, but you don't need to because you can just leave this in your hand. Then you banish your Zeta for your Chaos Valkyria. You make Abyss Dweller. So now this deck has 3 Xyz monsters on field, which is funny. Then you can go ahead and make your DPE. So summon that. So you end on the ritual spell in hand. You're popping this during end phase so that you can play around the droplet. So you've got Lancia Scythe, Abyss Dweller that's playing around droplet, and then your DP that's coming back to pop these two and special summon them to the field. So that's why that build is so attractive to people, but I think it's incorrect. If you're going to play a budget version with the Megaliths, you should concentrate more on the Megaliths. Having those 4 in deck, the 2 Fool and the Ophiel, for a while I wasn't even playing the Bethor. Just having these 4 in your deck, it reduces your consistency so much, it's actually insane. I used to play it with an even more special combo. I'm at 34 minutes right now. Do I push it? What if my camera runs out of space? I'm worried. So you know what? Screw it. I'm already here. All right, we're going to do the last one. The old combo, just for nostalgia's sake. So Alpha Zeta again. Alpha Zeta, you grab Ben 10, you activate Zeta, tribute, special summon, add Meteonis. Ben 10 will add Manju here. I am an idiot. I messed that up. I'm so used to the regular combo that I messed that up. Sorry. Starting over. Alpha Zeta. So you search your Vendread Battlelord, which is Azathoth. So then you Zeta cost, tribute the Battlelord. That gets you your Revendread Evolution. So at this point, you're at 2 summons. You activate Revendread Evolution, which dumps a second Vendread Battlelord from your deck to special summon the one in your graveyard. Now that resolves, you can activate Vendread Battlelord, activating its effect by banishing the Vendread Battlelord from your graveyard as cost to stun your opponent. You can choose Monster, Spell, or Trap. For the rest of the turn, your opponent cannot activate effects with that type. So if you selected Monster, you're not getting Nibirued, you're only getting Impermed. You're not getting Ashed. Like, they are done with their Monster hand traps. You're only getting Impermed for the rest of the turn. Unless they print another freaking card that is a trap that activates during your opponent's turn. Then you Link Summon into Link Karibo. And then you Link Summon into what we used to play, Relinquished Anima. So from here, your opponent can't hand trap you anymore with monsters, and you have 3 darks with different types. So you can make Curious. And you can even chain block your Curious. So you've got your Curious up here, chain link 1 Curious. Vendread Battlelord, when it leaves the field, it has another effect, which is why it was so attractive. But again, it bricked. You can dump another Vendread card, so your 3rd Vendread Battlelord, to search any ritual monster. You literally search Ben 10 there, and then your Curious dumps Gamma. And as you can see, we're at the point in the combo where we were with the other combo, where you go through the Megalith cards. The only bad thing about that combo, besides all the bricks, is that you also expose yourself to milling pieces of your Dragoon strategy. Your Dragoon bricks. Because in that when I was playing that version, I did not have a DPE yet. I don't even know if it was released. But essentially, you use Gamma to tribute the Ben 10 to search your normal summon, which is insane. And then you get 2 bodies on board to make Fafnir to dump another card, which is going to be your Ritual Spell, which you actually add back from graveyard with its own effect. And then you add back again with the Edatin. So that combo is very lengthy, and it puts so many cards in graveyard, so you could definitely play Fairy Tail Snow with that build. So yeah, that's essentially all that I wanted to cover. Thanks for watching this far. Subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any subscriptions and any feedback. But yeah, I really love this deck. And it started as a budget journey, and it just became an infinite amount of floodgates. Which is essentially what this game is. You want to essentially stop your opponent from playing the game enough such that you can play and you can beat them. The less your opponent plays, the better off you are, which is crazy, this cancer game. But yeah, like I said, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. I've been gaining a lot of subscribers lately, so I'm very happy about that. So I hope to see you guys in the next one. Next up, I'm going to try some more janky decks. I usually try to play decks until I get first place, and then I switch over to a different one. But I definitely wanted to play with my Scythe and my Dagda while they were still legal, because I do think that they've got a target on their head, especially also with in tandem with Celestial. But anyway, see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.